Today's guest is Marvin Montgomery Jr. He is the owner of Kicks and Cuts in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, which is a unique store combining shoes, clothes, and haircuts. So, stick around to hear this young man's story and journey and tips he has for other young entrepreneurs. And if you support small businesses and local legends, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Marvin, tell me how Kicks and Cuts got started because it's a very unique concept. I have not seen anything like it.
So it was back in 2020. I had just graduated high school. I went to Woodridge High School. And after I had graduated high school, I decided I was going to go to John Carroll University, major in marketing, minor in entrepreneurship. And when I had made that decision, I was happy with the decision that I had made, but I didn't know if I was going to be fulfilled by the decision that I had made. Because you got to remember, back in 2020, that was COVID year. So we get a letter from John Carroll basically stating that the tuition isn't going to change and that everything is going to be online. So can't go into the dorms. Wasn't able to use all those cool facilities that I was showed for training. Can go to the library to study, none of those things, right? I'm literally sitting in my bedroom at home, getting out of bed, walking over to my desk to do my homework. And like to change classes, I'm clicking buttons. I mean, teacher interactions were different via email. It's like nothing was hands-on or in person. And it really kind of, I guess you could say, distracted me. And I just really wasn't enjoying the college experience that I was presented. And some of the percentages and things that you're reading online, nobody was really enjoying those times. So we were going into November. The school year kicked off in August, as it always does. And I was sitting down with my parents, and I'm like, I'm not really enjoying the school stuff at all. And I'm interested in leaving school and starting up a business. And they were really supportive. They really backed my decision, and they were kind of just like, what are you going to do? Like, what's your plan? I had no plan. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I talked to some people, right? And my mom, backstory, has been in business since 1993. She owns a nail salon and boutique called Gilmore's. And she just had moved out to the Falls. I think she's going on year 5 or 6 out here being in the Falls with the business. And on the upstairs, she built out a barbershop and 2 offices, right? So the barbershop, she had 6 full chairs, mirrors up, nice chairs, but there was nothing up there. It was literally just a barbershop and 2 offices. So when she went to reach out to barbers and things like that, they kind of were all like, no, like, we're not interested in being up there. Or if we did get some up there, they would only stay for a short amount of time and then leave. Only because, there was nothing else up there. It was just a barbershop. It was kind of dark in there. It wasn't like, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it wasn't
vibrant.
It wasn't vibrant. It wasn't like, it was just a barbershop, And so when I was thinking and talking to people about what I wanted to do, I was thinking, how cool would it be to have like a retail space for more towards men, since my mom has the nail salon and boutique downstairs? How cool would it be to have kind of like a men's line upstairs and incorporate the barbershop? So one of my buddies had gave me the name Kicks and Cuts, and I'm like, geez, like that's like golden. That's perfect for like what I'm thinking, kicks, sneakers, clothing, accessories, and cuts, the barbershop. So I started getting into this whole shoe thing and trying to figure out the market and trying to figure out where to buy stuff and trying to figure out a supply and meet the demand and get all the new stuff that everybody else is getting and get it in bulk, all these things. I'm researching, I'm trying to network and meet people. And after I was given the name and wanted to lock it in, I LLC'd it online on Frank Rowe's website, went into the bank, opened up my business account. And the whole month of November, I spent putting the store together, which is all on YouTube, and you can check it out. But we did a video of getting the grass wall together, getting racks installed, getting the shoe shelving installed, getting more lights installed, getting the counter installed, like all these things that have made up Kicks and Cuts to what it is now. There's videos of us putting it all together, putting it up. And so the whole month of November was really getting the business ready. And then December 1, we launched.
That's awesome. So you guys have been around for 3 years now, going on 3 years. Is that right?
Yeah, about to go on 3 years, which is like so wild to think about.
And it's hard to do, especially with a regular retail store. Like, the failure rate for those kind of businesses are high, and you guys seem to be doing really well. I'm sure it helps that your mom has, an established brand there too that's been around since '93, and it's older than me. I think it's older than you too. So, that's awesome. And I really like the way that you guys, the thought behind it, because you have a section for the men and you have a section for the women. So, the couples can go in there, the woman can go, shop in the bouquet and see what she wants to get. And then maybe the man can get a fresh cut, or, he wants to get a pair of sneakers. You got something for everybody there. And that's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's been like the real cool part about it, is just being able to be alongside my mom, honestly, and my sister as well. Sorry.
You're good.
But that's like been a blessing to be around the family, honestly. You know how it is being around your loved ones.
Right. Yeah, man. No, that's really cool. And one thing that I was curious about, especially in reselling, because I've done some flipping before, like, whether going to thrift stores or garage sales, inspired by Gary Vee to, try to make some extra money.
I love Gary Vee. I watch all his videos.
Yeah, dude, he's been a huge inspiration for me. And that, reselling is not really an easy business. There's profit margins are typically not the highest. But it's also difficult to get started into as well. So how does one become a reseller? Like, what's the pathway if somebody was interested in saying, hey, I want to get into the shoe game. I want to, what do they do? Do they have to wait at Foot Locker until, for 2 days before they get the best sneakers, or what do they do?
I mean, to be a good sneaker reseller, I would say there's a couple keys to it, and it's changed over the years. I would say somebody's sneaker path would be a lot different than mine. They would have learned the industry, learned the game, made connections, and met with people before they just went and opened up a store, which kind of makes my story a little bit different. I kind of wish I went that way sometimes, looking back at deals that I did and things that I've been scammed out of, or shoes that I've got that weren't authentic, just being new to the game when I had first opened up. But I would say to get started in the sneaker industry to today's date, as of like March 2023, you're going to want to get a pair of shoes for retail. And the way you're going to want to do that is to either get them through the sneakers app, SNKRS. They do releases at 10 a.m. whenever there's a new sneaker releasing, or to go into the malls and get a pair for retail on release day, or to join a raffle at one of the retail locations at the mall and secure yourself a pair. Then once you get that pair for retail, so you're in, say, a Jordan 1 releases at $170 with retail and tax, you're in like 190 something or whatever. And you're going to want to take it up to a not a retail store. You got it from the retail store. You're going to come up to a resale store like mine, Kicks and Cuts, or anyone out in the community, and you're going to sell that sneaker to us. That's the easiest way to get into it. We're going to buy it for $220, $230. You made your $20-$30, put that aside, and then go put that money into another shoe, and put it into another shoe, and put it into another shoe, and the shoes will multiply and multiply and multiply. But as you get better, smarter, and figure it out, you're going to enter multiple raffles. You're going to go to multiple retail stores on release day, so you have multiple pairs. So if you times that $20, $30, $40, $50 profit margin times 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20 pairs of shoes, now you're making a little bit of money, and now you're doing it in a little bit more volume, and now you can increase your rate and keep going with it,
Right. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of work, but business in general, starting your own business is going to take a lot of work, a lot of effort. And
I mean, there's a big difference between owning a sneaker store and selling shoes and being just a sneaker reseller on the side.
Okay.
But there's a lot of sneaker resellers that do very well without having a store platform. But it's two different things, essentially.
Okay. Now, excuse my ignorance here, but explain the differences, the key differences, essentially.
I mean, I guess the main difference would be the overhead and cost. I mean, as a sneaker reseller, you probably pay rent and those different things if you're not even at home. Maybe you are at home, but as far as a store owner, I mean, I have rent, electric, cable.
Right.
I mean, our payment fees for the POS. I pay sales tax to the state of Ohio for every transaction. I have payroll for my employees. The barbershop, I just bought new barber chairs. I just redid the flooring. That wasn't cheap, making sure that my store and environment stays up to date and looks good. So there's a lot of key differences. I mean, but I'm not spending hours a day in my car driving around going to pick these shoes up. I'm not trying to let people know that I'm real every time I do a deal, because all they have is a page or a platform to back them, opposed to me. I have a physical store that people can come and visit to check it out and, feel safe, especially with some of the things that are happening in the community. Last week, a young man was shot over a sneaker deal. So things like that, people are kind of leaning towards going to a store opposed to, oh, I met this guy on social media, I'll just meet up with him and grab the pair of shoes that I want.
Right. Now that leads me to ask, how do you think that the brick and mortar traditional stores are going to fare in this digital age? I mean, you just said something that was really, interesting, that as opposed to those people who don't have like a retail store or something, you do. So you have that reputation already by default that you're going to be a verified good dealer. But we're seeing people wanting to do business more online as opposed to going into a traditional store. So how do you think the landscape is going to change and evolve with that?
I mean, me as a business owner, I'm always thinking of innovative ways to appeal to my customer and appeal to potential customers. So we offer an online website that's very interactive. You can go on our website to book a haircut with our barbers. They're amazing, Chris and Nate. You can also go on our website to purchase shoes if you'd like them to be delivered. They'll get shipped to you. We also offer local delivery through DoorDash. So shoes can quite literally be delivered to you within 20, 30 minutes like it was food. And then we also, we have an amazing, innovative space. I mean, I try not to talk about it too much and talk myself up or the business and let it just do its own thing. But I mean, geez, we have a nice space, and it's very innovative. You can come in, you can filter by your size when you're shopping in store. You can try the shoe on, you can feel out the clothing. We got the music going, grab yourself something to drink. We have the Pac-Man machine. I mean, it's a comfortable space. People that come up there are not just in there getting a haircut and then getting out of there, like they're enjoying themselves and having a good time. So it's just been a blessing overall. The people that I've met and some of the people that support me on a weekly basis and come in. But I guess to answer your question, because I kind of got sidetracked there.
It's all good.
You're always going to have that percentage of people that are strictly, I just want to shop online. I'm not going to waste my time going into somebody's shop. And then you have that group of people that are going to say, I want to support local. I want to go into the space. I want to try it on. So you're always going to have that group of people. I don't care how digital our media gets, because we're pretty digital in media as of right now, if you think about it. Sorry about that, my ringer. So that's never going to go away with people, the group of people that want to shop online and the group of people that don't. But
right,
I'm just going to keep creating innovative ways to apply to my clientele.
No, and that's what you have to do. And I think you guys are doing a really good job about that. That's how I even discovered you in the first place, because on my business page, which we're, subpar when it comes to our posting and stuff like that, despite, my buddy and I, we've created several TikToks that, have over 80,000, followers, and we do well on YouTube, but we just haven't really put that to our business yet, which we're working towards. But you guys are doing phenomenal at that. I think that's one of your biggest strengths for sure, is your social media presence. I mean, not only your personal page, but your business page, both are updated every day. Like, you're never missing a day. And that's so important.
I think for me, it's just like, I enjoy doing it. And like, I enjoy what I do so much that it's just very much so natural, and it's not really forced, or I'm just kind of doing me,
Right.
I'll post corny videos of myself. I'll post corny pictures of myself. Like, I'll do funny stuff. I'll do the trends. I'll do the dances because I just enjoy doing it. Right. And then the sneakers is just kind of like an attachment of me now over the last 2.5 years. It's just kind of something that I really enjoy. So I guess for the brick and mortar spots, it's social media is crucial. But as far as some of my buddies have stores in the malls, and social media isn't as crucial for them. It needs to be, and it should be a goal for them, but it doesn't have to be as much because they're getting that constant foot traffic, opposed to a solid brick and mortar like me. I'm not always getting, foot traffic, like the deals that I'm posting maybe, or the TikToks that we're posting and stuff like that is what is what's attracting people into our space, because we're just a brick and mortar. We're not on some crazy pack strip, or we're not in a plaza, we're not in a mall, we're not in a shopping area. So our social media is our bread and butter.
Yeah, and I think it should be every business's bread and butter, and having their owner or whoever is operating the business be the face of the company, because people want to know who they're going to do business with. You see all these big names right now who are influencers, but they've built multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar businesses, and now they're like, well, let me put a face to my business, and people will automatically trust you more and want to do business with you. And it's the effect on that is really profound. And I feel a lot of young entrepreneurs are seeing that, whereas a lot of older entrepreneurs are having a harder time adjusting to the shifting landscapes that we're witnessing right now.
And that's what I don't know if you've seen my socials, but that's what the Soxy is.
I have. I wanted to ask you about that. But yeah, go ahead.
To provide that need to maybe some older clients or middle-aged clients that aren't interested in having to manage and promote on social media. So that's where the Soxy can come in, and we'll handle all your media needs, essentially. So say you just started a clothing line. You want a website? Boom, we got it. You need photography and videography for some shoots? Boom, we got it. You need us to manage the social media pages and posts for you? Boom, we got it. So we want to be able to take other people's businesses to the next level on the media side of things. And that's what the Soxy is, and that's what we're working on.
Sounds like the Walmart for media.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I want to circle back around to something that you were talking about earlier, because this is something that intrigues me. I like to watch a lot of watch resellers on
yes, I love watching.
I get into that stuff. I love it. Like, I have no jewelry. I'm not a big jewelry guy, but that stuff really intrigues me.
If I could figure out what between the real and a fake watch, I gotta watch into that, because that stuff is fun, watching those guys in New York.
It really is. Which leads me to ask you, because you said you've been scammed. You've had experiences of being scammed, and that's something that people have to watch out for.
Yeah. Could
you maybe tell a story of a time that sticks out to you for a time you've been scammed and what you've learned from it?
I've lost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars over the last 2.5 years, but I haven't had anything recently, probably in the last 8 or 9 months, that's really stuck out. When I first had opened up an instance were chargebacks. So a way that we eliminate chargebacks for anybody out there watching that's interested in starting a business, check IDs and make sure the ID matches up with the credit card or the debit card, especially for larger transactions. I used to not do that, and dudes would come in there, spend $600-700. I'm ecstatic, right? Nice size sale, going into the weekend. They got their shoes, I got the money. Money goes into my account, after the next day, after the business processing. And then 2-3 weeks later, I get a call from Square, which is my POS, my point of sale provider. And they're like, there's a chargeback in the amount of $600-700, whatever the transaction was. Just so you know, we'll be withdrawing those funds from your account tomorrow, right? So essentially with a chargeback, the person has the shoes or the clothes that they got. I have the money. Then the money gets taken from me back to the bank, back to the person, whoever's card it was, because it obviously wasn't the person's card that came in. So now I'm out of the money and I'm out of the inventory. So it's just a zero for me. So I lost the money twice, essentially. With a chargeback, you essentially lose the money twice, because the money you put into the product and the money you receive from the product, you lose that as well. So the last chargeback that I got 6 months ago, I pressed charges on the guy that did it. and I will continue to do that. So I'm pretty locked in with the Cuyahoga Falls Police Department now for that kind of stuff, just because it's just like, come on, go do that at Saks Fifth or something. Like, go do it at a big company. Like, why Little Marv? Why Kicks and Cuts? But another big instance getting kind of scammed. I had a deal for some Jordan Mocha ones, which is a really prominent Jordan one. It's all brown, really nice shoe. They go for around anywhere between like 500, 550, I would assume. Currently, the current market for them. But when I was looking to purchase them, they were going for around like 300. And somehow I got into this message with this dude about basically putting around like 5K into them, just a bunch of Jordan 1 mochas, and everything sounded good. I mean, a lot of people I knew followed him. He had a bunch of reviews on his page. I thought everything was going to be good. I sent him the money, and I get this tracking notification like I normally do. And then when the shoes come, it's like the weight is there, but it's not the shoes. So I'm like blowing this dude's phone up. I'm trying to figure out, what is this? Like, what's happening? And I don't remember all the ins and outs because it was so long ago now. I probably have a video actually on my YouTube of getting scammed for it. But I think I ended up trying to do a chargeback on the money and wasn't able to go through with it because there was a tracking label that was sent, so it's showing on there, and then it's like delivered or whatever. And I'm like sending pictures. It's just, I don't do much business over Instagram and online anymore. It's really just people that I know, or if I built a solid foundation with you. Or what we'll do is it's called gifting, essentially. I can't remember the term that we call it right now, but a person will just send the shoes and then we'll send the money after we receive them, because we're more of a not knowledgeable, what's the word I'm looking for, verified source to provide the funds, opposed to just somebody messaging me online.
Right. So how do you build that network up to begin? Because first off, it's still on the same topic here, but from what I see on your socials, you're a phenomenal networker.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've been supporting, people in politics. You've been with other business owners, and you just seem to do a really well job at ingratiating yourself in the right crowd of people. So with that, how does one do that for, say, selling sneakers, getting in that game? Like, how do you build that reputation? How do you build the network so that way you can, get deals that you can trust as opposed to taking a risk?
Yeah, I mean, I just look at all my, like, the networking as like friendships, honestly. And I think that's what's helped me over the years is, like, I value those relationships and friendships that I've built. And I don't really look at what the title is attached to. And I just really more so look at it as a friendship. And I think that's where people get lost. They get tied up in like what their friend or whatever is doing, and they're in love with that opposed to who the person is. So yeah, there's a lot of different people that I talk to and promote on my socials, because I'd want the same thing done for me. If I'm going and eating at one of my friends' restaurants or something like that, I'm posting it, I'm tagging it. If I'm at one of my other friends' shoe stores, I'm posting it, I'm tagging it. Because at the end of the day, I mean, everybody should support everybody. I mean, it's not just Kicks and Cuts, There's a million other places that you can go and check out. And I want people to be able to explore and check out different places.
Right.
I also want them to know where they're gonna get the best experience at,
Yeah, which I have to really check out the store. I haven't went there myself, but I follow the Instagram page, and it looks vibrant. It looks alive. It looks like a place that you would want to hang out at. I see that you guys even do stuff. I don't know if you're still doing it or not, but browsing through your Facebook and Instagram, I saw that you guys were doing like Christmas wrapping and just getting involved with the community. It's insane the amount of work that you guys are doing and the outreach you have.
If I can pull it up real quick. Let me tell you what our mission statement is, which I should know off the top of my head. But so our mission statement is to provide a welcoming, engaging, and innovative customer experience in our retail and barbershop. We will give back to our community that we serve, especially those in need. So that's our mission statement. And then our vision statement is to excite our customers, one cut, one experience at a time. So I feel like what we do falls really well into our mission and vision statement, and my staff knows what our mission and vision statement is, and those around me that know me know what it is, and it's posted all over our socials. So we definitely try to give back in the community, and Christmas is the best time to do it. So
Right.
I dressed up as Santa this year, and I was all over the place. I went up to Alliance, I went up down to Cleveland, I was in Lorain, I was in Falls, Akron, Stowe, Hudson, Falls. I was everywhere. And I had this big box U-Haul truck that Family Promise let me use. And my dad had this real nice Santa suit from Mr. Funds in the fall. So it was like, it looked legit. And I was driving around all day, Santa bag. I'm dropping bikes off, dude. I'm dropping clothes, pillows, food, shoes. I'm everything.
You were the real Santa Claus.
I was the real Santa Claus this Christmas. Seriously. But I mean, it's a cool process, and it's not just me. I mean, it's the community that's backing it. That's why we give back to the community that we serve. That in our mission statement. So kind of the process starts. We'll do the Christmas wish list. I'll send that out to shelters and schools and whoever I think might be in need of it. I'll post it on our page. People can come in store and pick them up. The in-store pickup can be kind of weird because, you know, people don't want to come out to a store and pick up you know what I mean? So
Right.
I try to just put them in places that I can, or have people message me privately about it. And I had about 75 people reach out to me this past Christmas. So then once the wish lists are all filled out, the wish lists are at the store for people to pick up. So people in the community can't 2, 3, 4, 5 list, grab and grab and grab it. And then the minimum to spend is 50. The maximum amount to spend is 100. So it's between 50 and 100 to spend. And I'll have some people just send in donations and whatnot. And then once I retrieve back all the lists with all the toys, we organize them. So we'll put the same color sticker with maybe a number or something on them. And then we'll do a wrapping night at Kicks and Cuts. So I'll clear out all the barber chairs upstairs. I'll line tables all the way across. Put some wrapping paper, tape, scissors. We'll get some Christmas music going, some Christmas movies. I'll get some food up there. Everybody's eating, wrapping, having a good time. I'll normally have like between 20, 30 people up there wrapping. So all this stuff gets wrapped within like an hour or two. And then loaded all the wrapped gifts into the truck. The main part of this is organization. And we're getting better at it every year. But I think there was only maybe one list that kind of got screwed up when I was able to fix it. But get everything into the truck, and then I'm out driving, delivering. And it's a blast. It's cool to see these kids' reactions and let them know that somebody does care, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine. I bet there's another thing that you guys do as well that's just really admirable, and that is free haircuts for going back to school.
Yeah.
So how did that start?
I think giving has always just been my motto or my thing, whether it's friends picking up a tab or with my business. It's just something that I'm about. And the free haircuts is a blessing. I mean, everybody feels good after a fresh haircut, and some of these kids can't get one. So we'll go to Hope and Healing in Akron, which is the women's battered shelter. And we'll go in there on a Saturday before we open. So we might go in there from like 7 to 10 and do haircuts all morning for kids. Because a lot of those moms, you know, they don't feel comfortable even going into some of the barbershops in Akron and not having the funds for it. I mean, a good haircut nowadays, you're spending $35, you know, $30. And to somebody else, that's lunch and dinner, you know, right. So priorities. So we try to accommodate and do free haircuts whenever we can. I think the sad part is the last time I promoted free haircuts on my page, I don't think anybody showed up to the shop for it. So I normally will reach out to shelters and things where we can actually go in. And again, I don't know if that goes back to that look of coming up there to get a free haircut, you know.
Right.
People are very, very cautious about that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, of course. Now, what do you think? I'm going to change it up a little bit here. Although it's still tied in, what motivates you the most? Because you seem to be a very ambitious young man. Like, I saw on your Facebook page that you were doing mulch. You were putting mulch in people's yards too. So like you've always had that hustler ambition in you. So like, what motivates
you? I would say the thing that like there's multiple things that motivate me, but if I were to like break it into like 3 things, I would say my parents, one. Like my parents like have instilled like so many like work ethic traits in me. Like when I was like 7, 8, like I would sell cookies and lemonade outside of my mom's first boutique. And I would take that money and go get Nintendo games, Wii games. Like I always had I had like the 3DS, I had the Wii, like I had the 2DS, the PSP. Like I was like super into video games. So whenever I made money, I would save like X amount of it, and then I put the rest into like video games. And my mom always went to Sam's Club, so it was video games and reading for me. Like I'd go get whatever the new Diary of a Wimpy Kid series was, and I would get like a Nintendo game. And I guess that kind of started like this whole grind for me. But the things that inspired me the most, my parents, watching different creators online, honestly, and seeing how they're constantly elevating and innovating in their space. And the people I'm surrounded by. Like I don't really like to, I enjoy having a good time, but I like to be around people that are kind of pushing me forward and putting me in the right direction, you know?
Right.
So that's, I don't know. And I like nice things. So the nice things aren't
Who
cheap.
doesn't? Who doesn't?
Who doesn't like nice things? I mean, I work hard, play hard. I don't know. I've always
So, what do you still play games? Do you still read?
Honestly, neither thing is very exciting to me anymore.
Okay.
I'm not crazy into reading. I've never really been, besides when I was younger in that Dive Wimpy Kid series. I'll read literature as far as if it comes to my business or something I'm like into, but to just kind of sit down and pick up a novel or a nonfiction or like if it's like a Rich Dad Poor Dad, like that type business type of book, I'll skim through that and take notes on it, but not really just a sit down and read type of guy anymore. And video games, not so much anymore. It's really just no time for it.
That makes sense. And plus, I mean, it helps too that it seems that both of your parents are entrepreneurial. I'm not sure what your dad does, but I've seen that he does some public speaking events.
My
And,
dad is a motivational speaker and sales trainer.
oh,
And
wow.
his slogan is get Marvinized. And then, like I said, my mom's been in the retail era for about 2 decades now, a little over 2 decades.
So who would you say has been the biggest inspiration for you, if you could say that, out of the two, as far as the path that you're leading right now?
I wouldn't say either one is like more influential between my parents, but I will say each of them have played their role in different things. Like I have a retail space, so whenever I have questions about my retail space, I'm going to go to my mom. My dad, he's very knowledgeable, but when it comes to retail, I'm not talking to my dad about retail. But if it comes to something on the back house of things or just how to go about a situation, like I know I can call my dad and I know like he'll have the exact answer or the exact way to handle something, even if it's not what I want to do or what I want to hear. It's kind of just like phone a friend. Like if it's, I mean, something new's coming up every day. So
Right.
it's kind of like playing my cards on who I want to call. And even my sister's very, very influential and impactful because she's been around the business since she was 16 as well. So
Yeah, man. No, that's awesome, and that's such an incredible thing that you have a good support group like that, people that can really help you. You know, because there's a lot of people out there, you know, and like myself, really, I don't really have anybody else aside from, and this isn't me complaining, because Google, YouTube, beautiful resource right there for young entrepreneurs. So, you know, but that's just awesome that you can have that, you know, wealth of knowledge that you can just tap into instantly.
Yeah. It is nice to have somebody that's been through it or is going through it opposed to just trying to find the source online. But I mean, that's how I found out a lot of the information. I mean, they know a lot, but they only know, like when it comes to sneakers, I mean, they don't know much about that. So it's
Right.
still a lot of legwork that I've put in on my side to learn things and do things.
Now, have you always been a sneakerhead, or is this something that?
No, honestly, not really. Like in high school, I would just wear Vans and
Okay.
like whatever was. I liked having more of something than less. So whatever was kind of like a cheaper option that I could get a bunch of. So opposed to going and getting some Jordans for like $200-$300, I'd go get maybe like 3-4 pairs of Vans at like $50 per,
Nice. So what then got you into it?
I guess the business side of it.
Fair enough.
What other resale shops were doing and bringing in from it, and I wanted to kind of create a culture in the falls. There's no sneaker stores in the falls.
This is very true. And I resonate with that as far as just wanting to get into it for the business side of things, because as we've talked about, I have a commercial cleaning company.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, my life's goal isn't to be the world's best janitor personally, but I do like the business aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's very intriguing for me. So I resonate as far as that goes.
I think like in life, you should have really good goals for yourself, but going into an industry that you're not aware of and you're trying to learn with the goal of being the best is, I feel like, a very cliche goal, in my opinion. I think you should kind of work on yourself, work on, personally, then evolve to your city, then evolve to your state, then go up from there. You know what I mean? Like if you're just going into something with the idea of I'm going to be the best, and you're not really thinking of all the other logistics that go in behind it, then I just feel like you're not really, like, the goal should always be to be the best. That's not what I'm saying. You should always be the best.
I get it.
You. But there's so many different areas of being the best in and all of that good stuff. Like like there's no other sneaker stores in the area that are giving back on the level that we are, or there's no, like, there's certain goals that I have. I could care less really about the money, but it's really more so the giving back and the impact that we have and the experience that we provide to people that come in and shop in store with us, and the impact we have on our community.
No, man, I totally get that. One of the most satisfying feelings that I can get from being a business owner is when, a fellow business owner that we're in business with saying, hey, the place looks great. It looks phenomenal. This is the cleanest it's been in a while. Like, not saying that these places are dirty, but it's hard to maintain and keep the store clean. So, that's a really gratifying feeling. And then also being able to offer, like a free cleaning or something like that, just coming in and saying, all right, you want this extra done? Well, we've been in business a while. Why am I going to charge you more for that? Let's just, as you talked about, foster that relationship. I think that's so important and overlooked when people are getting into business, is the importance of fostering the relationship and being willing to give, expecting nothing in return.
You never know, like, where a relationship could take you. Like that deal you just closed this morning on that account, they could reach back out in a year and say, hey, we're opening up 6 more locations. Or one of my buddies has a dozen locations out here in the tri-state area. Could you take them on? Like, you never know.
Exactly.
Competing in what they can provide. But you also shouldn't go in to a relationship, like I said, only looking at what that person can provide for you.
100%. I couldn't agree more. I think that's very overlooked, especially in this world that we live in with this, obviously we're both, capitalist in some regards, right? It may be entirely, I'm not trying to box you into anything. I know a lot of these things can be contentious these days with the political landscape, but that's not my intentions here. Right. But, I feel like that's just so overlooked, that the giving aspect of business is so important. It's so important, which, I want to change topics a little bit here, because you brought up that you're not in this for money.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you had money, if you can only choose one, which one would you choose? Okay. Money, network, or fame, and why?
Network. Money is played out at this point. Money is great. Money pays the bills, but it doesn't like buy happiness in any means. I know a lot of people that have a lot of money that aren't happy. I know a lot of people that have a little money that are jumping out of the gym. So money's out for me. And then fame, I've seen it time and time again. Like, who doesn't want to be able to go to the grocery store? Who doesn't want to be able to take their family somewhere without getting bombarded or have an issue? Like, fame is kind of played out for me as well. But network, can fulfill all three of those categories essentially, honestly. And I think network is way more important than anything else.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And one last question for you. This is a fun one here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any, and you're going to have to tell a little background on this too, because it's going to go over people's heads who don't follow you at all. Do you have plans still of making a reseller TV show and recreating maybe your character Spike or coming up with somebody else?
Yeah. Not a lot of people do know about that, but Spike is the character that's on the wall right next to the grass wall. And my goal is to make a cartoon sneakers show or cartoon sneaker series along the lines of my story and how I got started. And basically just like a group of kids that are into sneaker reselling, and they're traveling to shows together and building it up until the point where Spike, which is me, has a store. So essentially telling my story, but maybe adding in a couple things that make a little bit more sense than kind of how I actually got started. Because, well, I just started, but I don't know. I think geared towards that age range of like 8 through 13, 14, those kids that are like obsessed with it. Like I have a kid that literally comes in once a week with his dad, and they'll just window shop. They'll just like look at shoes. He's like, this is this, this is this, this is this. I think kids like that age will just like, they'll be on it. And I think it could be a really cool series. And I started some merch for him. So I got little beanies at the shop with his Spike on it. If you notice on our Kicks and Cuts shopping bags, his Spike outline is on the shopping bag. So I've done some things to hint at Spike, but nothing has been set in stone about Spike yet. Nothing has been created or LLC'd or finalized. So I haven't done too much. Who knows? Somebody could be stealing my idea right now. So I gotta take time, put some names, finalize some names for it, and find a animated screen producer, somebody that can do that type of stuff. And some of the other characters are still being made right now. It would be like a cast of like 10 characters, and make it cool, make it fun.
Right on, man. Now I lied. I have one last question to end this with.
What's up?
What is the best piece of advice you can give somebody starting out in business who wants to start a business and just point them in the right direction? What's the best advice?
Best advice. I'd probably say the best piece of advice that I could give to somebody is patience. It's a word, but patience. I mean, take time with what you're doing, learn your industry, learn your craft. And network with people, talk with people. The same buddy that you talk to every day could be somebody that has the key to what you need in your business. You know, find out what they do, find out what they enjoy, find out what they like. You know, if we just met on the street and just said hey to each other, you would never know anything about me, and I would never know anything about you. So I think patience and network. Take your time, find people that can help you out in your industry, you know?
Right. I couldn't agree more, man. So thank you, Marvin, for coming on the show. It's been great speaking with you.
Yeah, it was a blessing hanging out with you today.
Yeah, man. And where can people find you?
We're right up on State Road, Kicks and Cuts, shoe store and barbershop here in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. We're at 4111 State Road in the Falls. You can also shop online with us at kicksandcuts.com. It's just KICKS, the letter N, CUTS.com. And we hope that you stop in and grab some sneakers from us soon.